Hey there, and welcome back to another Miraculous Ladybug Season 5 review. And today we're going to be talking about one of the latest episodes to drop, Confrontation, which, well, it's a pretty spicy episode. And so I won't waste your time with a long-winded introduction. Let's just jump straight into the action, shall we? Because there's a lot of stuff to cover today. Okay, so we start off the episode following Adrian, as Plagg tries to give him a little pep talk as he fills out his orientation forms for the next school year. And immediately, side note, God, I hate how schools are always trying to get you to tell them what you want to do with your life so early. Like, from such an early age, come on. As if most 14-year-olds actually have much of an idea beyond vague hopes and dreams. But you're not really relevant. I just thought I'd have a complaint. But yeah, Adrian is struggling because he doesn't want Marinette to find out that his dad's planning to send him to a private school in London for the next year. And Plagg, instead of making a joke, is actually super wholesome here. And he tells Adrian that yeah, it sucks. And he wouldn't want to be separated from Adrian either. He knows how it feels. And it's not a laughing matter. I guess that refers back to when he went and had Zoe as a short-lived wielder. I gotta say, whilst the writing of this season, it's been a bit spotty at times, I feel like they have done a fairly good job at fleshing out the bond between Adrian and Plagg. It used to just be, comic relief most of the time. But there's a lot of emotional depth as well these days. And speaking of close relationships between Kwamis and users, we then move on to Marinette and Tiki, where the two of them discuss how this application thing even works. So apparently, these 14-year-olds have to fill out forms discussing what they want to do. And in turn, their teachers read them, judge them, and then approve or deny. Surely this is not how the French education system works, right? Right? I hope not. If anyone should be reading these application forms, surely it would be the school you want to get into, right? And on top of that, it's their student representatives that are there? Surely this is the type of thing that you discuss with the student themselves, right? And their parent or guardian. Not two random students. Oh, this school makes no sense to me. What kind of world do they live in? It actually is getting me heated, just how inefficient the schools are in the Miraculous world. Anyway, Adrian then walks in, and Marinette tells him how she's worried about the forms, and the fact that Lila and Chloe are the ones that have to defend them. We then have a brief montage where we learn what each class member wants to do as a job. Alia, the journalist, and honestly, considering how many big scoops her blog has gotten, I would have to say she is already a professional journalist. And I would expect that her website generates some significant AdSense revenue. Seriously, why would you even need to get another job? That'd be blowing up. She's the #1 source for these heroes. On top of that, Nino wants to be a film director, Milen wants to be a savior of the planet, so I would guess an environmental activist, and apparently Ivan wants to be a stay-at-home parent and look after their kids. Already planning children at that stage, at age 14? Whew. Rose wants to be a hairstylist for unicorns and dragons, but I suspect it will transition into humans at some point. Although, imagine Marinette having the gall to tell her that unicorns and dragons don't exist. Remember, in this world, dinosaurs have been revived. I guarantee Markov knows how to specially breed unicorns and dragons. I guarantee that's true. And speaking of which, I am still salty that Max gave away the code to build brand new super AI for free. What a clown. Julika still wants to be a mortician because, of course, every goth ever wants a job like that. Am I right, writers? Am I right? Sabrina wants to be a nurse, and also she's fallen so low as to feed Chloe now. Oh, how sad. How do the teachers never intervene with this shit ever? And on top of that, Chloe's rich, so she doesn't care about her future. And yeah, that actually feels very accurate to real life. And Lila is Lila. So back in the present day, Adrian and Marinette decide that they're going to ensure that nothing goes wrong and that Chloe and Lila don't ruin everybody's future. And honestly now, knowing that the class reps have that much responsibility, it makes me more and more pissed off that Miss Bustier thought it would be a good idea to switch it up right at the end of the year. Like, I thought they just had to organise the school leavers dance. Not this. My God, Miss Bustier, put your head in. Anyway, over at the hotel, Lila and Chloe have Sabrina shred everybody's reports and tell her to forge the handwriting and write new ones which don't reflect the desires of the students to try and ruin their lives. And in turn, they're going to pin this on Marinette to try and get her expelled and to ruin her life completely and make her friends abandon her. Which, yeah, this plan's actually evil. Real talk. Teenagers have killed themselves for less than this. These people belong in prison. Sabrina is then coerced even further by the pair to not only forge the forms, but then to lie and say that Marinette told her to do so. Which, yeah, I mean, surely this plan would never actually work in reality because everybody knows that Sabrina is Chloe's lapdog and that Marinette has always been kind to everybody. But yeah, everybody in the class does hold the stupid stick when it comes to Lila's plans, so I wouldn't be surprised if it actually had worked in some alternate timeline. Sabrina then tries to speak up, she gets slapped down and locked back in the closet, because That's a thing that they do to her. Lovely. Back at the school, the Resistance is holding their meeting back in the murder basement, trying to figure out which high school they should go to in order to keep fighting the good fight against Monarch. Mr. Damocles overhears all this, and of course, he gets excited because he loves vigilantes and all that. And Marinette gets a phone call and leaves the room, with us conveniently not hearing it. Which, well, yeah. On the first watch, I actually thought nothing of this. And so I actually got swerved by the twist, which I thought was pretty clever. But anyway, back in the boiler room, the class complains that they're being forced to choose a career path this early in their lives. And true that, kids. And so their plan was striking. Which feels like it would accomplish absolutely nothing, other than them not getting into the school that they wanted to get into. But since most of them had already handed in their forms anyway, nothing comes of this stupid plan. We then, I think, have a time skip to the next day where Adrian arrives and hands in his form to Chloe and Lila, who take it to a portable bathroom, as the current toilets are out of order, and they read it. And apparently he just wrote to the teachers of his school that he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. But all he knows is that he loves Marinette. Imagine writing this and sending it to the faculty. Like, yeah, mate, we get it. You got a girlfriend. We get it. But my God, imagine being the teacher reading this. I can't imagine anything cringier than having to read aloud a 14-year-old's musings on love. Chloe is actually right in this scene. It is pathetic, and it does belong in the toilet. We then move on to the interviews, and apparently there's only like 4 teachers and a principal working at this school. No wonder the standards have slipped. Anyway, the sabotage plan seems to work quite well. Alia gets written down as an optician. Julika is slated to repeat the year, the second time she's repeated apparently. And anyway, the faculty approves everything, and the class has a meltdown, and of course, Julika gets akumatized into Reflector with the power of the tiger, and quite rapidly starts to take over Paris, because her power set is overpowered. And so the heroes team up, and Cat Noir says it's going to be a tough battle. But no, it's not actually. It takes like 2 minutes. They use the lucky charm, they get some tape, they set up a fake brick wall, which is like, what? Where'd they get a fake brick wall? Did they make this in under 5 minutes? After all, she has the timer from the lucky charm, and the lucky charm was tape, not a fake brick wall. And she still has her special costume on, so it's not like she de-transformed. Like, what's going on here? How? Why? Where? Anyway, they somehow lure the exact reflector that they need. Yes, they find her out of the probable hundreds in Paris, and they get her to super punch another super punch from a different reflector. And look at this. Look at this. This nuked Paris. Look at that big mushroom cloud. To me, that looks like genuine fire in the explosion. It's like triple the size of the Eiffel Tower, it's that big. Look how high the flames are going. The death toll. Think of the death toll. This was not their best plan. They did not think this through. Imagine how many people died horribly right there. But luckily, somehow, the crater is tiny and nothing else was really destroyed. But bad luck if you lived next to that alleyway though. Rest in pieces. But of course, they fix everything, yada yada. Who cares about the superhero plot today? Because this episode focuses on high school drama. Ooh! Back in class, Lila and Chloe attempt to pin everything on Marinette despite this being completely out of character for her. And literally no one speaks up for her, except for Sabrina. Imagine that. A class of spineless sheep. Because none of them are in on the plan, of course. Because otherwise, Julika wouldn't have been akumatized in the first place. Honestly, if I was Marinette, I'd be in the market for some new friends. What a joke. Sabrina then stands up to Chloe and Lila, who try to gaslight her, and yet again, nobody says jack shit. So she runs off, Lila and Chloe go to offer to find her, and in turn, Miss Bustier accepts this. She accepts this. What? Why? What kind of useless teacher is she? Sabrina gets into a public fight with 2 girls, and she thinks the best way to deal with it is to send those 2 girls. What? Miss Bustier, once again, you suck. Maybe you should do your job for once, right? More and more. My hate video on Miss Bustier proves to be true. So the girls then follow her into the portable toilets, with Lila admitting to everything, and all of her lies across her time on the show. And it turns out this is a fake porta potty with a 2-way mirror, psych, sucked in. But like how? When you're outside, you can't see in. So how does the class see in? That's the point of a 2-way mirror, isn't it? That you can always see from one side? Like, I know Sabrina then presses the button, but that's so you can see from the inside out. Shouldn't you also be able to see from the outside in the whole time? Shouldn't you? Isn't that how it works? Otherwise, what's the point in making them? Oh well, doesn't really matter. And on top of that, how do they even hear all of that? Like, I don't think that's how they work. And is it not fucking creepy to anybody else that they set up a communal girls' toilet that is being spied into? Like, I get it was for a good cause, but I'd feel pretty violated, honestly. Anyway, Marinette reveals this was all her grand scheme with Sabrina. Okay, so Marinette apparently vandalized the original bathroom, and then when they brought the porta potty, she switched out the mirror on her own, which is illegal, I'm pretty sure. Like, doesn't the company own that porta potty? She damaged it. And also she puts a microphone in there. So I guess that explains how the class heard it all, but still, very violating. Does she have recordings of all the girls that used that bathroom? Marinette, this ain't it, girl. Damocles then tries to expel the two girls and fails because of the mayor. And once again, why are they treating the mayor like he's the king of France? I don't think he has any power over public school officials or appointments. Like, isn't that the Ministry of Education's job? How has the federal government not put their foot down? How have they not sacked this man? What kind of dystopian society are they living in? And I mean, the mayor certainly can't tell them to not allow the students to redo the applications. I'm starting to think that maybe the writers should have just made him the president or the prime minister of France or whatever. It would make more sense for how much power he seems to have over literally everybody. And then it's revealed that his wife, Audrey, has him by the balls and that's why he's doing all this. And surprise, surprise, they're going to come at me with a late stage redemption arc for this dude, but I ain't having it. He sucks. What a dweeb. Gabe then tries to akumatize Damocles because he's only now coming to the realization that he is a spineless worm and he's been part of ruining these kids' futures for a long, long time with his weakness. And long story short, turns out if you supercharge the Ladybug protective charms with positive emotions, it makes a shield that purifies Akumas. And I'm not going to lie, this part was pretty epic. And then on top of that, he sacrifices his job to ensure the kids can redo their forms. And he packs his stuff and he gets clapped out of the school. So I guess that's it for the old fella. Full-time Owl, whatever his vigilante name was. Is it just the Owl? Anyway, that episode, it was cool. Yeah. And at the end, Miss Bustier pretty much declares war on Chloe, about time. And we see another one of Lila's identities, Cerise, who goes to a different school and was apparently at a film shoot this whole time. Yeah, I don't get how a teenager is able to maintain all these lies and double lives, but I guess I'll just have to deal with it, won't I? And so yeah, that's the end of the episode. I thought it was pretty good. Although at this point, a lot of the writing really is a bit ridiculous, wacky, like extremely wacky. But hey, right side is that the plot moved forward quite a lot this time. So yeah, with all that being said, that's the end of the video. And I would like to say that these have just been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What do you think of the episode? You like it, hate it? What do you think of the writing so far? How do you think things are going to finish up? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.